Hello everybody, in today's video what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be painting up this Gorewarden here from the Flesh Eater Quartz faction in Warhammer Age of Sigmar. And for this I'm going to be doing a little bit of a different colour scheme and paint scheme to the official artwork here. I want to go with something a little bit more my own and just change it up just that little bit, make it something that I was going to more enjoy. I wasn't too happy with, although the official artwork looks really awesome, it's just not what I wanted to paint this miniature up in. So hopefully this tutorial will be useful for you, give you some ideas in painting up the miniature. But as you can see here, what I'm doing is I'm coming in with a grey here, and specifically this is a bluish grey, and uniform grey is the colour I'm using here, because I want to go with that undead sort of skin and making it look like there's sort of like no real blood flowing through our vampire gargoyle looking fellow here. So going in with that bluish grey tone is really making it give this unsettling undead appearance. And of course I want to paint this over all of the model, including up into the wings and out into those little weeny, well not little but long fingers out in the wings there. Wow. I'm not sure exactly what they're called, but I call them little wing fingers. So making sure that you go over the whole model and pick out those areas. Okay, so since I'm trying to go for that undead appearance as well, rather than coming in with a flesh wash or a skin tone or a brown wash here, I'm going to come in with a blue wash, and this is to try and keep that undead sort of appearance going. Well, that's my theory behind it anyway. We'll see how it comes out in the end. Because I'm painting this up, I'm not really planning this out too much ahead. I don't paint a test model or anything like that. I just grab the paints that I think feel right at the time and to try and give off what I'm going for. So sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't, but it's always the fun in painting up miniatures. And as you can see, I'm just giving it a good overall coat, not being too heavy with it. I don't want it to turn into a blue vampire here. I want it to be the undead sort of grey appearance, so just being careful and letting that just thin out just a little bit, but making sure that we get it into those recesses with our wash. Then once we have that wash completely dry, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in with another grey. This is dark sea grey here. It's a lot lighter grey than our uniform grey, still giving off that cool tone. And what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be using this for highlighting. So I'm going to be aiming for the areas where the sun will naturally hit, or the tops of the model, not focusing too much of the underneath of those wings, more on the top of those wings, and just hitting all of those sort of high points and avoiding areas like the joints and any sort of recesses or underneath the body where the shadow would naturally be. And it's just a matter of spending the time, and this model has great definition on it as well. You can really see where the muscles are sculpted into this model, so I'm picking out the very tops of the muscles, but also only on the top side, keeping all the underneath parts of the model free from the highlights there to give off that more effect like the sun is coming down, or the light I should say. It's probably not the sun since he's a vampire, but the light's coming down and picking out those highlights. Then what I've done here is I've just gone in with a off-white colour and just painted around the bone necklace our vampire man has here, and this was so I could place a contrast paint here. I've gone with aggaros dunes here, but you could also go with a sepia wash or even like a khaki colour here for this. I wanted them to look really nasty and old bones for his little necklace there. So aggaros dunes I think is the best sort of choice for me for this. It gives it also a different warmish tone towards the piece too, and it really helps frame the face and really lets you focus in on that face with having that completely different contrast color there to have a look at. Then once we have those bones picked out, what we're going to do is we're going to come in with a brown. This here is rigid leather. This is a reddish brown, and I'm going to be using this for painting up the straps that's holding up his loincloth and his belt of keys that he has on him. Since this is a keeper here, he has a lot of keys on him. He's got this nice little key theme, which I think is really, really cool. Gives it some real interesting look to our model here. And I think going with a warmer tone brown too is a good choice here, just giving something a little bit of variety. I want the skin and everything to be undead on this model, but I don't want everything to be sort of like in the cool color range. You got to add in some warm there, give it a little bit of interesting variety over the piece, and coming in with this rigid leather being sort of a warm reddish brown, I think is going to help offset that. Okay, so now we have his belts and straps picked out. What I'm going to do is come in with this color here, which is sort of a off dark green, and I'm going to be using this for painting up all his tattered clothing that he has on, sort of like his loincloth, and he has this nice, like, really torn up, like, scarf on him, I guess. Well, it's just a remnants of clothing, basically, of what he's wearing here. I thought I'd go with a off green here, because I didn't want to go with another type of brown or khaki color. I wanted to keep the parts a little bit distinct, but I just still wanted to keep it a little bit muted colored, so rather than just going with a straight bright green, I wanted to go with a little very off browny green to give it something more interesting, and this is to help try and hopefully bounce off some of the color I'm going to put on the wing there. I want them to complement each other, so going with the green here is what I decided to do at the time, and hopefully it'll work out with the color scheme that I'm trying to go with and give us something a little bit more interesting than going with some brown tattered clothing. So then once we have his tattered clothing picked out, what we're going to do is come in with a wash, and this is just going to be a nice brown wash. I'm using agrax earthshade here, but any sort of brown wash will do, and I'm going to be placing it over the areas that we've just painted, except for the bone. I want to keep them with just the aggaros dune color. I really like the way that is, and I don't want to change that anymore, so it's just going to be basically our belts and our tattered clothing here, just giving the good nice overall coverage, but being very careful that it doesn't pull or drip down to where we don't want it to, especially that skin, since we have it nice and finished now. So being very careful around the skin areas, but making sure that you get just that little bit of wash in there, just to dull it down just that little bit, make it more interesting. Then once we have that wash completely dry, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in with another green. This is a little bit lighter green than we use for our original base coat color, and I'm going to be using this for highlighting. And this is Angel Green here from Army Painter. And as you can see, it's maybe a little bit hard to see on camera, I guess, because it's a little bit too far away. This color is actually a lot brighter, especially since we've added that wash, but it's a brighter color than our green we placed on before. So it's going to work perfectly as the highlights to really help emphasize them just a little bit more and really show that we've got this big light in here. I'm sort of picturing this guy in sort of like a cave that's sort of got maybe some like moonlight or just some light coming in from somewhere, and I wanted to really emphasize that a little bit by making the highlights that little bit lighter color, because usually I would use the original base color to highlight back up, but I wanted to use something a little bit lighter than that to give it that more punchy effect. Then once we have his tattered clothes finished, we're going to come in now with some metallics. I'm going to be using gunmetal for this, nice and plain and simple. Any gunmetal is going to do here. I'm using vallejo. And what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be picking out all of the metal areas. Watch for this gravekeeper here is all of his keys, like grave warden, sorry, not gravekeeper. Grave warden here is all of his keys, and he also has one little bracelet on him as well. I'm going to pick that out and just go around and being careful that we don't get it anywhere we don't want it to. And of course we want to make sure that we give it a good overall coverage, because these keys are very, very tiny and they're all sort of like connected and overlapping with each other, so make sure you spend a little bit of time, make sure you give them all a good nice coat with the metallic. So then once I did this, I thought that was just a little bit boring making everything just the gunmetal color, so I wanted to add in a different color here to add, of course, a little bit more color in here, and I thought I would go with a brass, because you hear, you know, in stories and movies and that of them using a brass key, so I thought that would be a good idea. So I'll come in with brassy brass here, and all I'm going to do is pick out just a couple of each key ring here, and I'm going to actually do it on our bracelet as well, because I think the added color with the brass is really just giving it something a little bit more extra to the entire piece, so giving you something more visually interesting to look at, rather than doing them all in the gunmetal here. Just having that little bit of variety can make a huge difference to a model. And as you can see too, I noticed that I didn't paint any of the belt straps or anything in there, so I'm going to come in with the brass to do that as well, and that's going to really help add in some more color to the entire piece. And just going around picking out these little areas like that to give it an overall more of a punch. It's totally up to you whether you want to do it. If you want to go for a, you know, sort of a speed painting method, you just worry and do one, but I want to add in a little bit more oomph to this piece, so coming in with different colors like that can really help out. So rather than giving the metallic areas just sort of a plain ordinary wash, what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to place a little bit of contrast paint over these metallic areas, so all the key rings and the keys like that. I'm going to be using Guilliman Flesh for this, and I've used it before on a few other pieces, and when you apply it over metallic, it gives it this weird sort of aged, like sort of nearly rust, not quite rust, but this nearly emerging rust effect or tarnished metal, and I really do enjoy it and find it quite fun for making everything look sort of like old and grimy. It just adds this really weird and interesting effect. So that's what I'm going to do here with all of our metallic areas, and just give it this weird sort of grimy look, and just making it a little bit more different and interesting than if we just applied a black wash over top. Then once we have that all complete, what I'm going to be doing now is I'm going to come in with a purple. I'm going to be using this purple here, which is from Vallejo, and it's hexed, lichen, or lichen, something like that anyway, but a very sort of bright, striking purple. Totally up to you what sort of colour you want to go with the wings. The original artwork has sort of like red wings, and I've seen a lot of them painted online with red wings. I want it to be a little bit different than that. I wanted to, I was just really feeling purple for some reason. I'm not quite sure why, but I really do enjoy it, and I think it goes well, especially since I did, like I said, with the green tattered clothing, and green and purple are great colours that go together and work really well. So what I'm going to do here is come in with a big overalls coverage with our purple, and of course these wings are big flat areas, so don't be afraid to spend a little bit more time, add a couple more coats if you need to, but keep the coats nice and thin to water down your paint, so you can build it up nicely and you're not going to get too many streaking marks over the entirety of our big flat areas. So then once you have those all picked out, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in with some voluus pink here, and this is a contrast paint, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to be placing this in the corners of our wings where it meets the wing fingers, as I said before, and the edges of the wings, and I'm going to be placing this in. Then I'm going to come in with wipe my brush pretty quickly, come in with some water and just dab it around to try and smooth it out a little bit, but also keep the recesses in there with just that little bit of the pinkish red color to try and make it look like there's a nice sort of color transition between the edges of where the skin meets to the very stretched out part of the wing. Just trying to add in a little bit more color there. I was just feeling something a little bit different. I thought if I put it on a look, trying out this, I've never tried this technique or anything like this before, so I thought it'd be interesting to try, because these panels on these wings here are really big and flat, and they really need something to just punch them up just a little bit, so I wanted to try this. Also, I did a couple more steps on the miniature where I did a little bit of like stippling and dry brushing on the edge of the wing to give it sort of more of a worn appearance, but unfortunately the footage had corrupted on the on my computer here, so unfortunately I can't show you that. But what we're going to do now is we're going to go into the final reveals and the glamour shot, so you can see how it all came out in the end. So let's go and check that out. And with all that complete, we have finally finished up our Grave Warden from the Flesh Eater Courts faction in Warhammer Age of Sigmar. So I hope this video has been helpful for you guys, whether you want to follow along with what I did here, or just use this video as some inspiration in painting up your own miniatures. But with all that said guys, I'd like to thank you all for watching, and I can't wait to see you all in the next video.